of 75, I beg your pardon, that was initially. When you saw this list, what came to mind as someone who advocates for ex-convicts? What came to mind, sir?
Well, see, when we are talking about the Board of Prerogative of Mercy, there are a lot of things that the society did not know. Yeah, a lot of things cheated away from the society, which they did not know, which they also need to know.
Okay.
The way the Board of Mercy is being operated. And the standard rules for the procedure by which each candidate is approved for amnesty. There is a body that the government set up, and there is a route by which you enroute your application for mercy, and there are different approach, different routes which this application get to the board, and such as through the correctional officers, and some through the lawyers, their individual lawyers, and some through the families, and some through politics, through the political means. So, coming from these angles, all application coming from this angle before the government must be reviewed by the board being set up, and having passed through the normal procedure, such as age consideration, health, these are the things that the board will evaluate. And there's okay, this one, let us release this one. Now that the first stage scaled through, and the public were outraged that no, this is too much. This people supposed not to be there. This fellow supposed not to be there. So how did they get that information from first instance? They got the information through the media, isn't it? Okay. So, but I want to believe that in most of these cases, the society have been misled, misfed with some of the information, because, as I've said, that at the Board of Mercy, sometimes they do review some of the judgment that have been passed, and then they say, okay, let us release this one, let us release this one. We know that kidnapping, murder, armed robbery, are serious offenses. But sometimes, most of all these cases could be framed up. And at the board, when examining those things, they may see the need that, okay, well, I think this fellow, they will not own up in time. But sometimes it get to their conscience, okay, let us release this one. Now to the candidate that have been shortlisted, we don't know how they what influence the
choice.
Yeah, we don't know what influenced that decision. But one thing is certain, that because the government, because of the people reaction, the government decided to review the list. Well, to my own opinion, mercy should be demonstrated generously, but yet with condition. And part of that condition is that, okay, as this fellow repented, if he has repented, then why are you obstructing his freedom? So to me, the reaction of the public towards the recommended candidate is like unforgiveness. We are having unforgiving spirit, and you can imagine how those people will feel that the society stood against them. Mind you, one day will be one day, they will finish that imprisonment and they are still coming back to that society.
Okay, let's look at it from this angle. Maybe the angst of the people is based on the fact that, one, they are not in close contacts with the people who are on that list, first and foremost. Also, maybe because of the crimes being committed, because we are in an era where, for example, now one of the most mentioned names in that list is that of someone who committed the offense of domestic violence, stabbing the husband. And, there was an array of charges right there. Now, you look at that, and you look at what a lot of people are looking at. Say, for example, the fact that we are talking about domestic violence in this era, amongst other things. We are trying to preach against it, and there is someone who perpetrated that, and they are trying to bring her back into the society. It looks like maybe the wrong time for that message to be passed across from some certain angle. Some also have started digging in about the past, and they are mentioning, oh, it's a political favor, something of that sort. And now, if you mix those two together, it's not a good brew for what we have in Nigeria presently. So how about we talk about the meritocracy of those on that list? And now that the president has reviewed some of those names, why are we not talking about or hammering on the meritocracy of those on the list right there? What are the things that we need to actually know? You are conversant with these conversations. What are the things that Nigerians need to know to be able to understand that it is a correctional center? There are reasons for sending people to prison, for punishment and also to correct behaviors. How do we get that across to people?
Yeah, number one, as I've said before, that majority of this recommendation comes from the correctional center.
It comes from there.
Yeah, and they live closer to these people. We cannot rule it out as sometimes they can influence the process, but sometimes they look at these people. They look at the criteria that have been set, that have been laid down, to see that they are qualified for the amnesty. And also, don't forget that when we are looking at it from one angle, we should also look at another angle. What if those people, for instance, the case of the lady that was alleged of killing husband, and what of if it is a husband that killed her? So would the relation of the lady also not look for a way, for freedom? Yeah, that is one aspect. And also, when we are talking of this review, I think it is a green light for the society, for a way forward. Because these are part of our advocacy over the years, that you cannot just keep people behind the bar and then you release them like that without any means of tracking them down. So our concern now is, what are the means of tracking these people down? If at all, it's okay, we want to release them. The government is lacking that aspect.
Okay, I'd like us to, there are several issues you raised, and honestly, I've written so much that if I continue to ask you some of the questions here, we may not leave here today. Now, I want to also look at it from the issue of application for mercy. You have outlined different people who could raise an application. Now, this application, is it a process under the law?
Yeah, yes, it's processed under the law.
How does the law put it?
Well, the law puts it that anybody who have served perhaps larger part of the sentence is qualified to apply for mercy. And anybody that has a health issue or age related this thing is qualified to apply for the so that is what the rule says. Now, if someone has spent 8 out of 10 years, and maybe the remaining sentence is just few, then, and you said you are still opposing that person, I believe the correctional service, they must have done their
Due diligence.
their own work to see that this fellow, qualify for this. So that is it.
Now, if you said that the document of the list that were to be released or that were seeking mercy for got to the public space, and maybe you said that maybe the public or the people were misled or misinformed. In the first instance, at the stage, the council looked at it and said, this is what we're presenting before the president. Is there a part in the law that says the names should be made public?
Well, for transparency's sake,
Okay.
I want to believe that it should be made public. And at the same time, when we look at the society we are living at, take for instance, in Oyo State, it used to be made public before. But during the time of Governor Ajimobi, we are expecting that the name will be released. Because when the name is released, the people that are the relations who are eager to about the expectation of they will go through, they will see they will see their name, then they will prepare for the reception of their loved one. And so we discovered that for political reason, they cancel that system. Why? Because they know that when the name is released, public will members of the public will react, and that may frustrate the effort of their district. But so they shaded the names. They only up to today now. That is how it's been done in Oyo State.
Okay, I'd like us to look at that same process. Names being released, names not being released. I'd like us to put it aside and look at it. Now, if you say that someone who is to be given this prerogative of mercy has repented, don't you think alongside the release of these people, the public should be made to know that these people we are releasing, for instance, somebody caught in the act of fraud, has repented?
Yep.
I think the public needs to have an insight to the information. You can't just look at, if you want to compare this vis-a-vis those people who were suspected bandits, terrorists, who were granted amnesty.
Yes.
You will say the society is unjust.
Yes.
Because the person who was accused to have been a terrorist, an offense, a treasonable offense, did not go through a court of competence jurisdiction, and is being released in the name of repentance, and someone who went through the justice process, convicted, served part of his or her jail term, or waiting, and is not allowed to go. Where do you put this?
Well, sorry, let me ask. Do you have names of people like that who fell into that categories? The people who are not tried and yet they were released.
But then it's everywhere. We actually literally saw the whole list back then, from back then. Amnesty, a popular topic from way back.
Even the Niger Deltas were also granted. They were not only granted, they were also sent abroad to go and study and improve themselves. We have those in the northeast Nigeria. Who were also, arms were received from them, and they were granted amnesty. Where do we put this? Where is the justice, fairness in our society?
Thank you very much. We are advancing. To get to the time that we are the one that will rise up and tell the government, no, what you are doing is very wrong. Take for instance the one you cited, the Niger Delta, the terrorists, all these things are political. Yeah, they are political. The terrorists, they are part of the system. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, but in a situation where some of these people have been granted amnesty, this is where we say, okay, the government should sit up, that we can no longer continue in that direction again. Because, as you rightly said, I think there was a time in Lagos, I saw numbers of people that are being, blindfolded, and they were marched into Kirikiri. And yeah, under our monitoring, we discovered that we couldn't find them there again. Some of them.
Where did they go? Where did they go?
Yeah, but we don't know. Of course, we don't know. So we don't know how we only heard about their arrest. You don't hear about their release again.
Why is our judiciary system that way?
Well, it's two times. This thing, as I've said, that is political, right? Those that are before the board of mercy, those are the lists that went through the board of mercy. The application comes through the correctional, through their lawyer, or through the relations. And of course, sometimes it's about who you know. And that is where we are saying, no, there are some people who are more qualified for mercy.
Really?
Yeah, we said...
When you use that word, what do you mean? In clear terms. There are some people... Can you explain what you mean?
By more qualified.
Take for instance, in Lagos now, we have people from Osun State, from Ekiti State, whom some of them, their appeal are pending before the Supreme Court for 11 years. When I look at the list, I can see that their name were not included. These are the people that deserve to be considered. 11 years waiting for Supreme Court judgment. 10 years, some have spent 5 years, 7 years waiting for appeal. The appeal is still pending. What of a case where two people were sentenced to death? One was commuted to 5 years imprisonment in 2014, and the sentence was, to be reversed, counting from the day of conviction. So by the time the judgment, they did the calculation, they realized that, he has overspent, then that one was released. His casemate, who also appealed since 2014, as I'm telling you, the appeal has not gone anywhere.
Let's go for this quick commercial break, and we'll be right back right after this break. All right, welcome back. Right, we're still talking about the review of the presidential pardon list, and it's been an interesting conversation with Pastor Ezekiah Olujobi, who is an advocate for ex-convicts. Now, you were onto something just now. Those who have been on the waiting list appealing, I want to also add at this point, those who are wrongfully convicted and, they are trying to make a case and all of that, and we are seeing some signs, but they are not even considered for this.
Yeah, you see, thank you very much. See, what we do in our organization, this is it. We visit the prison to listen to the complaint of those who felt they are not supposed to be there, who felt that they are innocent. Then we obtain their judgment for review. Then when we find merit in that judgment to be considered, then we link the individual with the lawyers who can take up the case to the Court of Appeal or to the Supreme Court. Now, after they have exhausted the law arms and they couldn't get justice, then we push to the to the Board of Mercy for review of these cases. And now, this is what formed our experience, that people who actually committed the offense, they are having their ways. What of those who claim that they are innocent of the crime? Thank God for some previous Attorney General. So oftentimes they challenge you, okay, I should produce the document. And I produce the document, the analysis, and it's okay, let them be released. So these are the gaps that we find in the system, which we have been advocating for over the year, that people who are not supposed to be behind the bar should be released. Just the case, the example of the case of Okoro Friday that I told you, his casemate, the first accused, was released in 2016, and yet his own appeal is yet to be heard. Now, the first accused that his case was commuted to 15 years, to 5 years, and which, if Friday Okoro has to be heard, if the appeal is to be heard, would the outcome of the judgment be different to what the first accused got? So, what is causing the delay of such people? And also, we realize that some people, they are charged for armed robbery. We discovered that no, they didn't commit the offense. And at the end of the day, the court sentenced some and released some. We find this judgment is partial. How comes about? But very unfortunate that Nigeria, when the courts pass judgment, even at the Court of Appeal, they don't take time to review such case.
Now let's look at something that has happened in light of what the president has just done. We understand that the presidency has also relocated the Secretariat of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy to the Ministry of Justice and directed stricter guidelines for future pardon processes. Stricter guidelines. That is one of the key points from this one. How do we measure the stricter guidelines, that will be laid down now? And also, how do we review the fact that this relocation is coming to the Ministry of Justice? Remember, a lot of people are not too confident in our justice system as we speak.
Well, I think, as I've said, that there's guideline already.
But he wants it to be stricter, the president. The president says it should be stricter.
Well, I think that is left for the government to see what are the areas they want to improve on. But my own recommendation sometimes is that the government should allow an independent body to vet some of these cases before final stage. And also, most of the cases that has to do with murder or kidnap, they should also seek for the consent of the victims as well. So to look for healing, not that you just release the offender and then one day they jab each other. How would they feel? So victims should be considered when they are going through the process of amnesty.
Okay, I'd like to, because I'm actually looking at some of the names that were dropped.
Okay.
And to my mind, I'm sorry, I might be wrong. One may begin to wonder if someone was charged for life imprisonment and the term is being reduced to 10 years. What if the person has spent 10 years already? So what we are saying is that the person will still be released immediately. Silently, nobody will question it. Yeah. Nobody will look at it. Nobody will remember that his or her name was brought on the prerogative of mercy, the first instance. Now, I found only two names, or three. There's one age 59, Malam Ibrahim Suleiman, He was charged for armed robbery, possession of illegal firearms. There is another two people, age 61, drugs, Indian hemp, found with Indian hemp, 2 kilogram. His name is Napolo Osareme.
Okay.
And you have one Odeyemi Omolara,
Okay.
age 65, convicted for drug addiction.
Okay.
And their sentences were reduced. Now, so what if? So it still amounts to the same thing.
Yes. Let me, land before.
Yes, I have. It still amounts to granting them pardon if they have indeed spent the number of years stated here.
Yeah, that is what we are saying. You see, age is part of criteria which someone should be released. Well, maybe those people, perhaps we don't know what formed the decision, to decline their request. But to me, most of those cases that you have just mentioned, fell under the criteria. Someone who has spent a larger part of the sentence, it should be released.
In fact, there's a man of 71-year-old, illegal property obtained property under false pretense. And of course, his term from 7 years was reduced to 3 years.
Was reduced
to 3 years. For age reasons, yes.
Okay. Yeah, for age reasons.
I mean, to serve 5 years based on remorsefulness and old age.
What do you feel the government should do?
No, I'm saying that this criteria for allowing people to go.
Okay.
Is reasonable based on their age.
Yeah.
But again, let's look at those that are younger. Should they spend their youthful age serving jail term? Should we not find other means of ensuring people are remorseful, they are forgiven? Looking at most of these prisons, they are already overloaded.
Yeah.
There is no more space.
Yeah.
Can't we as a society come up with a means of rehabilitating people, correcting like the correctional center, and getting them to be better? I tell you, the kind of skills people get in prison, people outside don't get it.
Yeah, you've mentioned some vital aspect which I want to draw your attention on. Like the people that say they have overspent, they are overage. Sometimes justice demands that someone should pay for his crime, and at the same time, when you want to demonstrate mercy should be done, without any restriction. Than go and sin no more. Now, so to those categories that you have just mentioned now, where they see better than us. We are seeing it on the face of the paper, but the people there who review it see better than we do.
Okay, as an advocate, I'd like to ask you, what are we doing to assist persons who were accused unjustly and are still in prison and are not getting justice?
Thank you very much. That is the area of our own specialization. How do we identify the bottleneck that is holding some of these people down, and how are we sure that truly they are innocent of the crime? Take, for instance, a case of two brothers who were sentenced to death, who were roughly sentenced to death. Let me use that word. We discovered that the police took money from the victims. We promised that they are going to get the perpetrators and they are going to recover his vehicle. Now, you know what this police did? He lured one of his suspects who jumped bail to come for a job in Lagos. And the guy came. Immediately he came, he just brought out gun and shot his leg. Then, how did they get him? He said through phone track. Now, our investigation revealed that it wasn't just through phone track, but through the shorty who stood for him and his brother also. So, this police shot the two brothers on their legs, and he said they were armed robbers. The boy said no, that they are not armed robbers. The boy is a POP makers in Oshobo. His brother is at Bayelsa, being fashion designing. So there was a broken and entry and stealing where he works. And the guy was arrested. Can it be possible that a thief, not an armed robber now, broke into a house and he will still remain in that environment? And when you got him in that environment, what concrete exhibit did you find with him?
What about the accused, the one who accused them of that particular crime? I mean, the person who owns the property. They should be able to come out to speak.
Yeah, of course. They said they have no interest in the case of that stealing. Now, the guy based in Akure, because he could not find money to go to court, he jumped bail. And since then, this policeman has been looking for him.
Wow.
Yeah. So, in the course of our investigation, we asked, how did you get to Oshobo?
So that means you also do investigation.
And he explained that it was his master that brought him to come and work in Oshobo. Who is your master? He gave us the contact of his master. We called his master. The master told us that the guy didn't know anything about the crime. That his senior brother did not know Oshobo before. Okay, we went to the Attorney General. We explained everything to them. But they said, well, the case you see go on trial. So, during the trial, perhaps they found them as innocent, somebody who had nobody, they were sentenced to death.
Wow.
Yeah, two brothers of same parent. You have another case of two brothers of same parent in Ogun State. The elderly brother was arrested and the people are looking for him. Okay. The following day, he was in the station. They detained the junior brother also. As I'm telling you now, they have spent over 15 years in awaiting trial.
All right. I wish we could continue to give us some of these examples, but our time is fast spent, and we just have to wrap up.
That's no problem.
I mean, what message do you have for people at home when it comes to the issue of trial, ex-convicts? How do you think we should relate with that?
Yeah, I want to appeal to the people at home to embrace spirit of forgiveness and reconciliation. Most of the victims of the crime, we know how they feel the pains. Yeah, but we should allow forgiveness in our heart so that we can make future possible for those coming out of the prison.
All right, on this note, Victor.
Well, really thank you for shedding a lot of light on this conversation and taking us through the different emotions to make us see different angles regarding, these cases. Now, I want to say thank you very much again and again for coming through, Pastor Ezekiah Olujobi, who is an ex-convict advocate, for joining us on the conversation this morning. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me in the studio.
All right, so we'll now go for a short